Well, regardless of how unconventional it may look, it's still something that they've got to straight up deal with right now. And as you mentioned, there's not a lot of save in this lineup, and the Timbersaw is going to have to deal with a fair bit of lockdown and magic damage coming out onto him as well. So where where is the pivot at this point for Infamous? They may have missed that timing already. They just honestly may have to a certain extent, go sort of all in on their own side.
Well, and if anything, Angel, you could just pick up the Luna again. You could try to make it work, but you always sort of have a stun off of him with the Nyx Assassin. You just run your face into that hero, and then maybe you don't get away with it. But okay, they take the Mars.
Is that going to
If
be
Hokori were diving for an offlaner, then that's what I would recommend for them. But the Battle of the Mars is, I suppose.
potentially just the KXY Mars mid in this situation for Infamous? We've seen them run that
Mm-hmm.
before. So, my thing about the Mars, always when we see it in that mid role, though, you can play it mid. There's nothing really wrong with that, but you also need to actually build it like a mid hero. In this
Mm-hmm.
circumstance with the Timbersaw there, maybe that's a little bit less necessary, but a lot of the times where those mid Marses tend to fail is that they build eerily similar to an offlane build, and you can't afford to do that. You are that number two option. You are going to be relied upon to hit quite a bit harder than you would as that offlane initiator. So I doubt KXY will make that kind of mistake. The man knows what he's doing, but it's always a doubt in the back of my mind, at least.
Well, and with the Bristleback already taken out, so many bans geared towards this sort of hero that they could pick. They're even banning out the Batrider, most likely just afraid of getting super hard countered in the mid lane. And I can definitely subscribe to this mid Mars of this game. It matches up incredibly well versus the Nyx Assassin. There's not much you can do. Even if you get the stun off, you're still going to get berated by the wall. You're still going to have to deal with that trouble. And it's one of the few heroes where you kill the Lesh. Lesh will rotate. He'll try to kill your Timbersaw. And then Mars is a very adept hero at responding to heroes that want to play like that. And to that degree, I wonder what kind of safe laner we're going to be picking up for Infamous, because we could be seeing the Spectre, we could be seeing maybe the Ursa for the third time, just another aggressive melee lineup, but it's got to be something along those lines. I don't think we're going to necessarily see like the Gyrocopter or something that they also enjoy to play a lot on the Infamous side. Whereas Hokori, I've got no clue what they're doing. They're doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
Could
very
be an
much,
offlaner, could be a mid laner, could be another support for all we know, and we'll only really know once we get last pick.
very much still a mystery for them. All coming down to really where the hell that Magnus is going. In the meantime, though, Hokori do use that final ban. They went for the anti-mage first, the Luna now taken away as well. So not going to let Angel play that one again. Infamous, though, do still have some options in the pool here. The question is, what direction do they really look to go in? But we don't really have much time to ask that kind of question. Infamous are down to 3 seconds left. They've got to go
Vector?
now.
Jug.
Okay.
On
Damage,
paper,
durability.
yeah, matches up well versus the Nyx Assassin. You're not able to stun him through the carapace. Same with the Leshrac. You do force out a spin every single time, just because you always have that splitter fall up. If he doesn't spin it, he's most likely dead, but it's okay. It's definitely a sort of an atypical hero, and it's not even a deny pick necessarily because they already have the Faceless Void. And Hokori, I'm just guessing what they're going to pick. I really have no clue because they could really swing their draft either way at this point. Whether or not they're looking for a Vitaly hero or the Vitaly hero's dead set as the Magnus, it really could be a lot of different things.
They certainly have a lot of time to think this one over. 1 minute left on that reserve clock, so they can take a look at this Infamous lineup and really just figure out exactly what it is they want to do. The flexibility is certainly there for them, but I don't know. At this point, the more I look at this, the more I kind of think that this is going to be a support Magnus. I have almost no evidence to back that up, but it's starting to feel more and more like that might be the strat. Now that I've said that, of course, that is not going to be the case in the slightest, but we'll have to wait and see. Hokori will come in with that final pick. Oh,
Okay. Um, I guess we'll see. Yeah, Gardic is going to be on the mag, so this is a mag Nyx. No, Vitaly is on the Leshrac, so it's going to be a Nyx Assassin Leshrac lane 5 Magnus laning with Lumiere. This is an interesting one. Laning double melee versus Mariano. I don't know if I like this idea too much, but it is an incredibly free Ember game to say that much. This is going to be a strange match from Hokori.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. I mean, we gotta wonder what that offlane Lesh is gonna do, but honestly, that's a play that we've seen from Hokori before, and Vitali, even with some of his previous appearances with maybe other squads or other iterations of this particular lineup, the Pause 3 Lesh is something that he's at least relatively comfortable with, so we'll see how much they can make it work, and we'll see what kind of impact that Bangus can have. He is basically just going to be dedicated to buffing up his teammates whenever possible, so it makes for an interesting scenario. Not entirely sure if it's going to be successful, but it looks fun, that's for sure.
Well, and it does. You did pick Ember into the Mars matchup, and I feel like most of the time I've seen that matchup, the Mars has a relatively easy time. There's not much you can do to really hamper him. And once he gets the Yule Scepter, he still has kill potential on you. So Analog is really going to need to make a lot happen in these side lanes, but you're ganking a Timbersaw and a Juggernaut, so you're really going to need to play in the supports more so than the cores, and I feel like if Infamous are able to accomplish even a little bit of their game plan, they've got a much more standard lineup. They're definitely have sort of the powers that be. They can definitely just win by playing good Dota. I think that's one way to put it. That's sort of the lineup they've set themselves up at.
Right. Ease of execution, I suppose we'd call it, in terms of their lineup. They're going to potentially be able to hit their sort of win conditions with an easier sort of time than Hokori, but, well, we shall see how this one plays out, though. Game 2 getting underway. Hokori, not really looking to get too aggressive right now, just a standard setup around these sort of rune spawns, although Gardic is holding his Ops Ward. Here in this sort of Southside River area, he is checking out that waterway himself, just looking to see if anybody's pushing their way down. Meanwhile, the Ember mid, trying to push forward a little bit himself. So, Hokori,
Oh boy.
what is going on here? No.
Just a little bit of icing, you know? Showing them what you got.
My heart rate is higher than it should be at that one. But Analog able to keep his items, and now we do see a potential fight breaking out here. Angel hit up by a pair of stuns, but they're just there for the bounty rune. Going to be able to grab themselves 3 of the 4. So nice little play there, stunning up the Jug. No Blade Fury coming out for him, didn't even skill up anything at that point, and probably wouldn't have done him all that much good either way. So a slight economic advantage for Hokori as we do get into the lanes.
And it's not the biggest loss. If anything, you don't want to use half of your mana pool if you're that Jug. You want to be a little bit more patient. You'll probably need to use the spins to survive later on. But this is the one here. It's a little bit strange paired with the Warlock because you are just going to sort of, you already have the tools to sustain a little bit with the healing ward. So you're not that Spectre. You're not that more helpless hero. But they are going to double stun him. There's not much you can do about that. But that is the one nice thing about the Warlock. You're always going to have this 200, HP heal. There's not much pressure. Your mana is going to give out on the Radiant side before it is on the Warlock.
Right. Always going to be the benefit there. The damage is there for Hokori, but very rarely will they be able to sort of make it stick as long as the Warlock remains in the lane. Meanwhile, looking down to the bottom lane here, Gardic early point up in the skewer. So just in case someone from Infamous steps a little bit too far forward, Gardic is going to be there to try and catch them out of position, but as of right now, that doesn't seem all that likely. Mariano and Michael are doing a pretty solid job of sort of not getting overly aggressive, and there's really no reason for them to do so right now. Going in onto the Faceless Void with a Timber Rubik duo is not going to net you too many kill opportunities, so it's nice for Gardic to try.
Yeah.
As he does have, well, he had an opening. Doesn't actually go for it, though.
Well, and if anything, the only hero he can really play on is Michael. If he's able to get a skewer under tower, Mariano really doesn't care all too much, and that's where we'll see both heroes more or less just farm, do whatever they can, and see who's able to break out in these lanes. When each hero hits level 6, that's when we're really going to see these heroes start to thrive.
Yeah, for now, a slow pace. Gardic still going to take his shots here and there. Gets level 2, so he's got a point up in the Shockwave now, but it's probably going to be pretty slow in this bottom lane. Meanwhile, middle lane, Analog, oh, okay, well, not middle lane, top lane. Angel getting taken down, Vitaly and Almisho hit him up with that double stun again. This time, though, well, Angel wasn't actually ready for it. He had the Blade Fury, did not go for it, and A doesn't really have the mana to bail his teammate out with the Shadow Word, and A stunned up twice. Almisho's in there to start it off. Vitaly gets the kill with the Lightning, and that's going to be 2 on the board for Hokori. That felt like it really never should have happened, but Angel wasn't quite paying enough attention. Hokori catch him out, they get the follow-up kill, and they are looking good in this top lane so far.
Well, and that's a situation where sometimes you'll actually see the 5 place maybe a ward here where they always see the Nyx approaching. You don't need to be that living ward and risk going down, but again, it's just not maybe expecting the damage coming out from the mana burn, just falling sort of for free on the Juggernaut, and it's very unfortunate. But he will, at the end of the day, be able to still get quite a lot of farm. There's not much they can say about it, aside from just getting those sparing little kills. Other than that, I don't think they otherwise have very good chances at taking him down.
Right. It should still be noted, yeah, Angel takes the early death there, but you look at his last hit count, 17 for him compared to the 9 and 2 for Vitaly. So that death is unfortunate, but in most circumstances, it seems like he's just going to be able to farm his way back into a position of relative strength. So a minor setback, nothing too bad. Almisho, though, still sort of prowling around in the area. He's got the stun and the mana burn, so Angel may want to be a little bit careful here, but that healing ward is going to work. So in pretty much every scenario, he should be fine, unless he just charges at Vitaly right now, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, healing word, shadow word, there's not much you can do about it, aside from just sort of face check this Nyx assassin and make sure he's not going to land an impaling jug.
So some initial fighting there so far, but as things have settled down, we are seeing Infamous's cores settling into a bit of a rhythm. Take a look at the last hit counts so far. All 3 of their cores sitting at the top, not by the largest margins in the world. Vitaly's really the only one who is significantly behind at this point, but they're doing fairly well for themselves. As bottom lane, what's going on here? Mariano just stepping forward here. Michael was initially threatened, but with the Timber in the fight, really, Lumiere and Gardic can't actually do this. They're going to try and fight for the last hits, that's for sure, but no real kill potential in this scenario.
And it's just the sort of the drawbacks of being a melee +5. It's really difficult for him to help his Void as much as he can. He does get a 1 point up in the Empower, and that's where we'll probably see him put a majority of the points. But all those earlier skill levels, Mariano has sort of amassed in a massive creep wave, and he's just going to try to get as many of these last hits as possible, and not much that Lumiere can do to deny him of this.
Faceless Void. At this point, like you said, he's not going to be able to do much to stop Mariano. He's just here to get his own, and well, for the most part, things had worked out well. He is going to cop a little bit of damage there in the lane, but Mariano and Michael, again, can't keep him locked down. The Time Walk just gets him away. Maybe Michael could have gone in for the Telekinesis, but really to what end? There's actually just no potential for fights here. They're just almost bluffing each other into thinking maybe we'll force something, but both sides at this point should know it's not really going to happen.
And at the same time, you just see stacking it up. He's able to weave his mid laner alone, or his safe laner alone. At the same time, Ember Spirit always gets the rune. There's not much you can do about it. And this mid lane has been really the quietest out of all of them.
Gardic. Oh, can he make it happen? Shockwave in. Not going to go for the skewer, but they may not need it. Analog is just going to push his way forward, but look at that. KXY responding with the arena into the spear stun, and he's actually still not dead. Analog, does he have any way to get out? No, oh boy, he didn't have a remnant.
That was incredibly clutch from KXY. Ooh. Hopefully he doesn't die after saying that, but hitting the spear on the Nyx assassin, I don't even know if that was necessarily on purpose, as it felt like it just went around the Ember. And that was exactly what needed to happen. Nyx was tanking the tower the entire time as well. Doesn't even get a rebuttal or a mana burn. That was incredibly either fortunate or KXY or completely planned.
Yeah. Regardless of whether it's planned or not, it's the perfect play. Keeps KXY alive. He's able to find himself 1 kill and the assist, and now Hokori's early lead is pretty much gone. They were ahead by a couple hundred early on in the laning stage with those first 2 kills going their way, but we do now see Infamous pulling themselves ahead, nearly 1,000 gold ahead of their opponents at the 7-minute mark. So the net worth chart here pretty much looking exactly the same as the last hit chart. Infamous have all 3 of their cores on top, and gotta be feeling pretty good about the way the game's been going so far. Not a whole lot to complain about, outside of maybe that one minor setback at the very start. Tali?
Top.
One for
A.
the tower. A is just gonna sit back and let this one go. There's not a whole lot he's gonna be able to do. Anyone TPing? No.
No. They had already used Glyph for the mid tower as well, so not having it, it's a little unfortunate, but yeah, Angel just died to creeps. Yeah.
Okay, cool. New stuff coming out every single time as the neutral creep will get the credit for the kill. Vitaly, meanwhile, running down KXY in the north side jungle. So Hokori are able to get a little bit back there. They take, well, they don't take the Jug off the board, but the Juggernaut is removed from the board for a little while, slowing down that farming speed, and Vitaly's able to find a kill. So not entirely sure how or why the Jug goes down, but Hokori are at least able to benefit from it.
Well, and you see everybody just farming stacks at this point. They're really getting quite farmed on both sides. The big loser of that, I suppose, being the Jug. He's not really able to eke any closer to that Battle Fury. He needs lanes a little bit longer than some of these super farmers. Yeah, it looks like it was just the strong creeps. All 3 of the strongest creeps took him down before. So it's slightly unfortunate. He was probably greeting out for the 1-point healing ward. And I don't know. Now that Void is migrated up here, they're trying to find a kill, but
Vitaly
just walks away.
Okay. It's going to be just fine. Bit of a close call there, but he will walk away, and KXY kind of wishing he had the arena for that one. I think they get the kill if he can get that trap down, but without the ult, they can't lock this one in. They're going to eye up El Misho, though, in that bottom lane, but the Nyx is already falling back. So he's able to hide out in the tree line. They won't be able to jump onto him immediately. But Mariano's still kind of hanging out nearby. El Misho may want to be at least somewhat careful.
And it's hard to say because this game, it feels like a lot of rotations have been unsuccessful. This Nyx Assassin has so much XP, if anything, already level 6. Meanwhile, they're trying to make this play mid. It's really confusing.
What is this? Yeah, Analog, I mean, he threw down the safety valve there with the Remnant being deployed, so...
KXY?
Okay, hit up by the skewer. Gardic, though, not level 6, so there was no ult followed up, but Lumiere's in there with the Chrono, but he's actually blocked off by the arena. Not going to matter, though. They still push their way forward. KXY will be taken down. Vitaly gets the kill, and now they're not going to go after further kills. They're just going to look for the tower instead. Probably the safer and more immediately beneficial play as they find that, but now Michael on the run here in the east side jungle. Can he somehow get himself away? For now, yes. Analog, though, tries to hit him up. Sleight of Fist comes through, but he's got no points up in the Searing Chain, so he has no lockdown, but he doesn't need it. Jumps forward with the Remnant, will be able to find the kill. And Michael will fall. That leaves Hokori now in full command of this east side jungle as well. So they get kills and farming space off the back of that play.
And it maybe just, if anything, sort of the benefit of leaving these supports in these lanes a little bit longer and getting a little bit more XP than the enemy team farming the stacks with Vitaly. You just had your timing a little bit sooner, whereas the Warlock, he needed to wait for Tome. He wasn't able to get that to him, and you lose your mid tower for that. You had to use Arena in a defensive fashion, and I feel like Hokori are incredibly happy with the way this game's going so far.
2K net worth lead for them, about 11 minutes in. Experience-wise, not exactly out in front right now. They're, technically speaking, maybe 100 or so experience behind their opponents, but in terms of early momentum, Hokori doing pretty good, 59% according to that win probability. Dota Plus believing in this strong start, and it is worth noting at this point, Lumiere, he's just going to keep on farming up. We were sort of talking about before, the Empower's on him, so he's going to sit here and go to work in the jungle, taking these stacked camps. Diffuser Blade now online. He's looking for the Sanjin Yasha as his next pickup. So Lumiere, he's going to be geared up for quite a bit of damage and durability, and that's something that Infamous may want to be at least somewhat concerned about. Their own heroes are going to be relatively durable in their own right, but if Lumiere doesn't have to be afraid of them jumping into those engagements, those Chronospheres are going to be flying out with quite a bit more aggressive intent than usual.
Well, and I was looking over, your big winner of the map, Mariano, has rushed in Atos. So he's trying to sort of be Analog's Bane and try to give that secondary lockdown, something he might not expect. But again, they're with these weird sort of atypical item builds. Usually you just need to wait for the Yule Scepter on Mars before you can make a sort of a play on him. But hopefully we'll see Mariano able to get something aggressive done, because he really is not that tanky Timbersaw that we sort of know, and he has no means to go for the other items. He doesn't have the hood queued up. He doesn't have the Eternal Shroud in the works. It looks like he's sort of gonna lie in his bed of Atos.
Yeah, that honestly makes the play feel so much more uncomfortable, at least the way I'm looking at it, because you've gone for this Atos. Yeah, there's a lot of potential benefit, but now if you don't make use of that Atos, this is a nearly wasted item. The stats are obviously still going to be beneficial, but what does your Timbersaw do? If this Atos doesn't actually help you secure any kills, what purpose does he now serve? As you said, there's no hood. We're not going to be going into a pipe or a shroud, so you sacrifice tankiness for a little bit of extra catch, but now you have to actually go in for it as they've got him. Mariano able to connect with that root into the spear stun. Lumiere, can he get himself out somehow? Okay, Tom walks his way out. I just have to pop the Chronosphere defensively here, but he has no TP. That was canceled out, so what exactly does he do? Another time walk getting him safe. Mariano is just absolutely obliterating this tree line, but it is going to allow them to continue the chase as Gardic comes in with the ult. A, though, able to pop the Chaotic Offering as well, and they still can't catch up to that Faceless Void. They will be able to get him out, but Gardic basically going to serve as the sacrificial lamb here. They're just going to have to leave him to die.
Oh, and finally, he stole it. He gave it to them. There's finally an Empower, and you see him immediately TP to Angel. Now that we've got a super Battle Fury farming Juggernaut, as long as this spell steal remains.
Michael knows exactly what he is about there. I have Empower. Where the hell is my Jug? But that's the move you got to make. Angel, as you said, super farming now between the Battle Fury and that Empower. But if you're Hokori, that is very unfortunate. But Lumiere was able to get himself out. You don't have to commit the Chronosphere, and he is still alive. So overall, it sucks to give up the Empower, but at least you don't end up losing your carry in the process. As Hokori now actually looking to push their way across the map. Tier 1 tower taken in the bottom lane. So yeah, the Jug is going to be farming up quite a bit faster, but you're still able to get a little bit for yourself. And now El Nisho is potentially looking for the jump in here. Vendetta is active. He should have eyes on Michael, but he would rather try and track down KXY. I don't think he has teammates for that kill, though. So instead, they're just going to go in after the Rubik.
Yep, and they will get him assuredly. Having to lose the Empower does just a little
there
bit,
we go.
but again, these are all plays that Hokori can make because they know that you've used your rock, you've used your aggressive spells, and they're not afraid of KXY up until this Yule Scepter is finished, and then maybe Analog will have to give him a little bit more respect, and you can see just Analog blocking the enemy team's Ancient Camp. No cares. He just wants to keep the enemy Jug from farming as much as possible, and you check his net worth, he's sitting right there with the Faceless Void, but the Faceless Void has camps to run back to. They're really trying to give Angel the worst time possible.
Yeah, we do see a bit of good news, though, for Infamous. KXY now has his hands on that Yule Scepter, so that is going to give him that first little bit of sort of utility and initiation potential. He's going to look to put it to use right away, as Zombisho is very close to the other side, but not getting caught out just yet. In fact, he's actually going to turn around, looking to act as looking to act as the bait. That spear stun is unfortunate.
And if anything, that's what years and a bunch of time playing Dota will do to you. There's been a word spot here for how much time you really think it would latch to something, but it's very unfortunate what just happened. Because that was a 3-man rotation. Even a 4-man rotation. They had both supports sitting behind heroes there in case the engagement was bigger, and Analog was close as well as the Leshrac, but now Hokori, they're just farming across the map. They really don't care what Infamous are doing.
Missed opportunity there, but KXY gonna give it another go. This time he will connect with that spear into the Omni as well. Actually, Lumiere dropping low, but the Time Walk gets him away, and the Time Walk actually pulled Angel into the water, but that part's not going to matter. Angel simply falls back, but Mariano pushing his way forward. Lumiere wants in, dropping the Chrono. It only hits onto the Warlock. That is going to net them 1 kill. Mariano still on the hunt, looking for Gardic, not going to be able to get it. He's hit up by the Dilation as well as the Impale, so he is not going to be pushing his way any further forward, and it looks like Hokori will be able to keep that one clean, or maybe not. Elmisho still dropping low, but Gardic comes in, looking for the Skewer. Do they have any further damage? Yeah, they do. Vitali right into the middle of that fight with both the Edict and the Pulse Nova, and they will bring down KXY as well.
Well, and now you're just gonna sort of get run at as Angel. Oh, he will be not gonna get bashed up, but still, you use your cooldowns. You're not able to get the most done. Vitaly has a full Greaves. and you rush this Yule Scepter because you need to versus the Ember Spirit, but at the same time, it's complete setup for Vitaly, complete setup for El Misho, and they're always going to be able to stun you out of there. And now you need to think about a BKB before you can really feel confident. And it just feels like they're going to need so many items on Infamous to battle up. Whereas Mariano, you still haven't gone down yet, but I don't feel like this Timberslaw's done too much in these fights.
No, this Atos build has really gotten into the exact territory I was sort of talking about earlier on. He picked it up, but outside of that one play onto Lumiere, they weren't really able to do anything with it, and even in that play, they ended up with the kill onto Gardic, not the Faceless Void. So it was an interesting concept to go for that Atos play, but the actual payoff has been limited so far as KXY. Need to get himself out of here, but the dust will lock him down. Gonna pop that Eul's defensively, but the second he comes back down, Vitaly stuns him up, and this Mars isn't going anywhere. Spear stun, not even gonna connect. Analog gets the kill with the Sleight of Fist, and Lumiere, okay, wow. Keeps on pushing forward. Vitaly gets him with the Lightning. That's only a level 1 Lightning Storm, but it's gonna be enough for the kill. Speaking of kills, why not one more? Analog keeps on pushing. Gardic able to set him up as they get it onto Michael, and they take the Rubik down.
And now you have Ember Spirit with a Desolator getting empowered by the Magnus. It just feels like that steroid plays so well with the Void Ember cores, and now it really feels like, what do you do if you're Infamous? You need to get a scrappy fight going. You need to somehow leverage Mariano, but it feels like whatever item he's going to get isn't going to change what's happening. You need to rely on Angel at that point, and Angel's got at least another 10-15 minutes before I think he can really start to feel like a threat, because with the way they've itemized, I mean, Vitaly is going to save whoever gets gone on. He's going to face tank a lot of these Omni Slashes, and with the Greaves, I don't think there really is enough damage for anyone to die in that Omni Slash right now.
It's just a rough situation. Angel wants to push in. He wants to be involved in these fights, sure, but as you said, right now, this itemization, it's not enough damage. He's not going to be able to make that play happen, and if he's not the... Okay. If he's not the one able to... Oh my god, El Misho. Somebody tip this man. He's going to get away. The Vendetta popped as well. He's out.
Yep, there's nothing they can do. And that's the one hero that he could maybe kill with the Omni Slash. Everyone else, it's a little bit more complicated, but, well, Angel's farming. We just need to go back to farming, and I don't think you want to do that versus 2 empowered targets, but it feels like they have to at this point. And again, they're just using, if anything, this Aegis to translate into objectives, and they're going to continue to run at Infamous to varying degrees of success. But, okay, XY, is he caught?
He is absolutely caught. Chronosphere will lock him down. Amisho comes in with a Vendetta hit, and this is just going to be as easy as it comes. KXY taken down. Lumiere able to get the kill, and, well, Infamous really didn't have any means to protect themselves there, and now they're not going to be able to protect this tier 2 tower either. Vitaly and Lumiere hitting it up as quickly as they can. And yeah, that tower's not going to be lasting very long. Tier 2 wiped out. And at this point, if you're Hokori, you still got that Aegis for 2 more minutes. I mean, they could push the high ground.
And now, with this build on Faceless Void, you're almost acting as a pseudo high ground. Just stand behind me, guys. I've got 2.6k HP and can get all that HP back instantly. And this is just the perfect hero to stand in front of the Leshrac. And
no.
There's your rock.
A taken down. He does have a buyback, however, so he can rejoin his teammates if called upon. And at this point, yeah, they're going to need him. But Gardic in with the RP. He's going to skewer back the Rubik. Michael, though, using a stolen walk to get himself away, and now that rock will come through. Gardic immediately taken down. Hokori, though, still fighting their way into that, as Lumiere's going to be able to get the kill. And at this point, Infamous, you just need to back off, but they can't go anywhere. The bashes from Lumiere lock down Angel. He will fall. Yeah, there's nothing he can do. He will fall as well. GG will be popped, and Infamous lose it all on that one sort of fight. Obviously, they were behind already, but that goes so poorly. It starts with the pickoff onto the Warlock, and it just sort of falls apart from there.
And what a strange game, to be honest. It felt like, oh, 3-1. Okay, Lumiere.
Wow.
I don't know who you're calling out. Maybe Angel there, but it really feels like they just sort of got worked that entire game. I don't even feel like Hokori were doing anything really special. They just walked from lane to lane getting successful pickoffs, whereas Infamous, I don't feel like they were ever really to do anything good. Every single arena, every single sort of initiation, even Michael wasn't able to find any steals. He wasn't able to play his hero, and if anything, I feel like it was almost a failing on Mariano and KXY, where the two heroes that needed to get active in that game just didn't, and Hokori farmed within power. It just a very cut and dry case. I'm surprised game 2 was like that, considering how game 1 was.
Yeah. And listen, this is going to sound weird, because it is weird. Very rarely do we fault a player for not dying. But Mariano here with the 1-0-1 stat line, sure, 0 deaths. Normally, in 99% of games, that is fantastic, but 0 deaths also meant he didn't have the impact he needed to have. You sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier on. The Rod of Atos was a weird purchase for him, and he just wasn't involved enough. That low death count on paper looks good, but in reality it meant he was not participating to the degree Infamous needed him to. So I don't know exactly what happened there. Some miscommunications maybe from Infamous that sort of messed with their initial attempts to fight, but at the end of the day, Hokori just took advantage of that dysfunction and completely wiped out their opponent. 17-4 in terms of that final kill count. They just marched their way to a win and a 2-0 sweep of the series.
Well, and if anything, even back to KXY, the way he itemized, it felt like they didn't have cores. It felt like they had a Timbersaw who wasn't able to run around the map and kill people, and we didn't have a Mars who was able to get the initiations off. If I had a nickel every single time KXY self-fuels and then got immediately stunned out of it by a Hokori hero, I'd be rich. It's a sort of a sad way to go down, considering how close game 1 was and how much more of a fight both teams put up. But it's the way the series goes.
Yep. Very nicely played by Hokori, though. They get themselves that 2-0 sweep. So we are going to be moving on to our final matchup. It is going to be Infamous, though, in action once again. Obviously, this first series doesn't go fantastically for them, but yes, indeed, redemption. But instead of a South American opponent, they're going to be going up against an NA squad. Simply 2-based will be showing us what they've got for the first time in this event after their DPC run. So that matchup is going to be coming up actually pretty soon here. I think only a couple of minutes away. So if you want to see more from Infamous, stick around. If you're waiting to see Simply 2-based, stick around as well. If you don't really care either way, stick around anyway, because why not? We're awesome, and we're casting some more Dota. So final series of the day will be coming up in just a little bit. Infamous versus Simply 2-based to close out the day.